we're going to kick things off. One of the top biggest topics that's going on across the globe in sports right now is Lionel Messi. He has left Barcelona and just signed with PSG. And, you know, Messi is one of the greatest soccer players ever, probably one of those popular soccer players ever, Brandon. And after 21 years with FC Barcelona, he's jumping ship. This is a huge story.
This is a mega story, like you said, and I'm glad you said it, because I was thinking that earlier. Like, he is one of the best soccer players ever. You can't say it's just of his generation or currently. He is one of the best soccer players ever, and you definitely have to put him up there with Cristiano Ronaldo and you know, Ronaldinho and the old Ronaldo from Brazil, and man, there's just so many greats. I mean, Thierry Henry. Like, some of the greats about Pele. How could I forget about Pele? So you got to put Messi in there with some of the greatest soccer players of all time. David Beckham. I mean, when you say these names, Lionel Messi comes up in those names as well. And so this is huge news for the world, huge news for Barcelona fans. I mean, he's been with the team for 21 years. He pretty much grew up on the team. I seen a tweet today where it was, I believe, 3 players that they've had that were on their team. And Messi was one of them. Iniesta was another one. And I think Piqué was the third one that basically came on their team as a child, you know, into their program as a child, and then went on to greatness and win all these titles at BARCA. And then they kind of just fade off, and they're kind of legends. The other 2, I believe, went on and, you know, got a little older and then left the club. But now Messi, basically still in his prime, just couldn't come to terms with the organization, which is crazy to me that they just could not figure it out. And I know BARCA is having some trouble right now. There's a little bit of a financial scandal and some trouble with their board there. And so I think this has to heavily play into it because, I mean, they lost arguably one of the greatest players of all time and definitely the greatest player to ever put on a Barcelona uniform. Is now playing for Paris Saint Germain on a 2-year mega deal worth millions of dollars with a 3rd-year option. And I would think that 3rd year is going to happen because, I mean, if you look at the squad they have now, I mean, it's Lionel Messi, it's Neymar, and it's Kylian Mbappe. I mean, this is crazy. They have basically the 3 best players in the world minus Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the only other guy you could put on this team that could be like they have all the best players in the world right now, because that's it. I mean, it's crazy, that lineup that they have right now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they can mesh once they get on the field together. And, man, I got to say, he looks good in that uniform, man. And it's crazy. He changed his number up. He's now number 30, but he looks good in a PSG uniform. And like I said, seeing him alongside Mbappe and now Neymar is just going to be amazing. And it's, when you really think about it, you got to go as far as like pecking order. You got to go Messi number 1, Mbappe number 2, and then Neymar number 3, in my opinion. But yeah, man, they've just got a super mega team. And quickly before I go back to you, I'd be crazy if I didn't mention this because I was really thinking about it and I did think into it more. I know he's been with the team since, like I said, he was a child. And so that's a long time, pretty much grew up and matured with the team, turned into a man, and played a lot of great years, 21 years with the club. But I don't know. I just feel like the tears were a little bit over the top. And here's why. You're crying about you couldn't come to terms over $1 million contract, millions and millions of dollars with BARCA, and you came to terms with millions and millions and millions of dollars with PSG. So what are you crying about, honestly? You know, if anything, you should just be happy and just be pointing out that, hey, BARCA, we couldn't come to terms. Things just didn't work out. But I guess it's just the history and the amount of history that he has with the club, and he's leaving some people behind that I'm sure he did not want to leave behind. And he said that he didn't want to leave. But it's just unfortunate that he's moving on. But I don't know. Like I said, now this PSG team is just stacked. And, man, that's got to be the toughest ticket right now to get in European football.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the full story about what actually just happened because, you know, there's different people are blaming different people. You know, Messi says he was ready to take a 50% reduction in his contract. Well, he just finished up a 4-year, $675 million contract. So a 50% reduction, he's still going to be making like $90 million a year. So I'm not going to cry tears for Lionel Messi in that regard. But, then, Barcelona saying that La Liga's, the reason why they couldn't get this done. And then Barcelona's they're going to shave like $300 million off of their player salary. So there's also this sentiment where, Messi wanted to stay with Barcelona, but even if they could come to a contract agreement, would Messi want to stay if they had to shave a bunch of other salaries and some of his teammates that he enjoys playing with would have to leave? So would he be staying for a team that's essentially rebuilding? So that's, even though Messi said he wanted to stay and would take a 50% reduction, was he really thinking, well, no, worst case scenario, if I do have to leave, I'm not going to be staying for a rebuilding squad? So I think there's a lot at play here. This is very complicated. But in the end, Barcelona's financial issues created this situation where Messi left, and like you just said, he's going to play those other two guys. Why would he not want to do that? Why would he not want to go to that other team, especially players when they do get a little bit older? I mean, he is in his 30s. He's still got some years left, but why would you not want to play with another loaded squad? So that's exactly what Messi's doing. Just massive news. I mean, you would just think these clubs that are so rich would just be able to re-sign these guys so easily, but that's just not the case. And you see these financial woes with BARCA, and that's exactly why he left. So very interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun watching him play alongside Neymar, definitely. And if you're a Paris Saint Germain fan, you have to be pumped about this whole situation.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, you've got arguably the best team in the world club-wise, and I think the only other team you can put up there is Chelsea. So I think I would love to see these two teams facing off, maybe in the Champions League, Chelsea versus, PSG, which I think would just be an amazing game. But just quickly, before we move on, just the effect of Lionel Messi and the following that this man has. PSG, the day before they signed him, had 20 million followers, or roughly 19.4 million followers. The day after they signed him, they're over 40 million followers and growing. So it's just like that. In an instant, in a flash, they gained 20 million followers, and a lot more money, I'm sure, is now going into this till at PSG. So it's just like, we're talking about big money and teams having big money. PSG is really putting out the cash right now and signing the checks, along with, like I said, Chelsea. So it's like, let's see these two mega teams face off, hopefully coming up in the future here.
Folks, if you like this show, you're watching it right now on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. That's Comeback Sports on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Comeback Sports. And then all the cut-ups that our awesome producer, Ben Kudo, puts together after the show, that'll all filter to your YouTube channel. You don't have to go search for it. It's just right there in your subscriptions.